So last year I had a pretty bad deficit of firewood to fill my firewood stand and to use the firewood that we used, because the majority of the wood that I had was this big chonky stuff that the splitter that we did have did not want to even touch. So all my IBC cages that I have lined up here is as a result of the Easton Made 2228. The Splitfire 3403 that I purchased just could not keep up with the amount of wood that we needed to heat our own home as well as just fill the firewood stand. And here's the 3403. This thing was put through its paces and it still just could not cope with the wood that we were trying to split. So now that I've got the Easton Made 2228, I'm now running a deficit of IBC cages. So today on Fabricating Firewood, we're going to unload 24 more IBC cages that I got the other day, and they've been sitting on this trailer because of the amount of rain that we've been getting. And I didn't want to mess with it, so all I did when I got back the other night is take the straps off and let them sit. So I'm going to be removing these and getting them ready to prep and remove the bladders for tops and bottoms so that I can start stacking wood in these bad boys. I'm about sick of this 35-degree weather at the end of March. Just not liking it. It's not conducive to me enjoying being outside. Can't wait to get this wood yard completely finished. Everything where it needs to be, so that I don't have to move stuff to get to stuff. I'm not using the implement rack shelving unit right now because I've got too much dirt coming in at any given moment without warning, and I don't want to have my implements that I'm using to fix the wood yard and the parking lot and whatever blocked by all the dirt. See a lot of videos on IBC cages and how people use them. I use them specifically to store wood nice and neat and stacked. With just a small opening in the front for now, because I can always cut it bigger, but what I can't do is cut them smaller. So for now, I'm just making them with the small opening in the front, and I'm using the tops with about, I think, 18 inches, 16 inches or so. I'm using the tops cut to an appropriate height, 16 to 18 inches, I can't remember, so that the dimensions of the wood inside the IBC cages is exactly one face cord, or rick, 1/3 cord. I'm not a big fan of using the word rick, just never liked expected. Face cord seems a little bit more professional. Double work. I have to pull these IBC cages, totes, whatever you want to call them, off of the trailer, put them in this spot temporarily, move the trailer back over where the Tahoe is right now, and then put the Tahoe back where it was, and then move the trailer and truck over to where the Tahoe is now, and then I can put the IBC cages over on the east side of the property out of the way until I can find time to remove the totes and to cut the cages out the way I like them, until I can get the woodyard lot set up and finished with everything on the outskirts, so that I can at any given moment go anywhere in the lot to this implement rack and have my trailers over behind me, behind the tractor there on the northeast of the lot, everything out of the way, so I can get my trailers out from the front of my house, because that's not making my wife too happy, because it's blocking her view of the house, as well as blocking our view out of the house to see who pulls in, minus the 19 cameras that I've got. So, I don't know. I just can't wait till it's done. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself once it's done. The guy I got these off of is up in Mulberry, which is just, I think, southeast, if I recall, of Lafayette, Indiana. He gets it from the farmer. So these IBC totes had agriculture chemicals in them, like Roundup, calcium chloride. I told him I didn't want any of the calcium chlorides because this stuff's pretty caustic and I didn't want to pour it on my property. But the small amount, the remnants of the chemicals that are in it, I have no problem rinsing them out onto the gravel. Worst case scenario, it keeps weeds growing from the gravel. There's some dents and bent items. He did his best he could to get the ones that I wanted. Thought I wanted anything that was all thrashed. Gave me a good deal, got them for $30 each. Not as good a deal as free is, but cheapest I found in the area without having to pay $35 to $55 for an IBC cage, 275 gallon. That's what I'm going for, the 275 gallon cages that are all like size. I don't want different size cages on the wood yard. I want to be consistent. The last IBC cages or totes that I got them from a facility down in Kentucky, just southwest of the border where Indiana and Kentucky meet. And those things had plasticized soybean oil in them. That was no fun getting out. It was completely just, there was maybe a couple, 2-3 gallons of it in each IBC cage, and just that amount that was sitting in the bottom, even when it was full, it was still on the sides, it was still on the top, so that when I cut it, that stuff would not come off. I used degreaser, a whole bottle of Dawn dish soap, between the 12 cages that I got, or 14 cages that I got, and nothing would get that stuff off. There's still, if you look at my IBC cages, there's still residue on the inside of these plastic totes on the lids. So when you're reaching in to get some firewood, you gotta be careful that you're not rubbing up against it. I mean, it's not toxic or anything, it's just gooey and it's slimy and it doesn't want to come off. If I'm not mistaken, they use that plasticized soybean oil at that plant to make plastic pellets, extruded plastic pellets for something. I'm not sure what they use that for, but that's what the soybean oil was for. And they offered, I got contacted last year, and they said that they had some more they wanted to give me, and I politely thanked them and said I couldn't take them because it was just too much of a hassle to get that stuff off, and it's still not off on the lids that I have currently. So I knew if I waited long enough, I'd find some close enough at the right price that I could go get them, which clearly I did. So now I went from a deficit of firewood for the 11 or so IBC cages that I had firewood in, to last month having a deficit of IBC cages, to this month having a deficit of firewood. So just ping-ponging back and forth. My leg's well enough that I could split some wood, but I just finished my taxes. Just finished my taxes last Friday. It's now March 26th, I think, 2024. It took me a couple weeks to get them done. The first 6 weeks after my knee replacement, I did not feel comfortable doing my taxes for two businesses, my family and my son's family, since my son and I share a business. So when I say do taxes, I mean prep them to a point where I can take them to the accountant with all the raw data from all the invoices and expenses and whatnot, and then he does them. But I did not feel comfortable under the narcotics. I was on oxycodone, tramadol, 2,000 milligrams of Tylenol every day, and 650 milligrams of aspirin every day. So I did not feel comfortable collating all that data on that kind of narcotics. Not too bad. Pitching up about 2 inches of mud under the dirt that's dry enough. It rained last night, or no, not last night. It rained the night before last, pretty good. Seemed to can't catch a break on the rain. We got a small amount of time before I have to go back to work and get all this stuff situated. So I'm hoping that I get enough of the dirt to wrap around the north side of the property so that I can bring gravel in. I'm gonna bring my buddy's, I've got my buddy's skid steer here, but I forgot to bring his impactor or roller, what do you want to call it, vibrating roller. So I was more worried about getting the dirt moved for more dirt, because my tractor, as you saw in a previous video, was down for the count because of the massive hydraulic leak from the main hydraulic sending unit, or sending line from the side of the motor. Had a hairline fracture in the line of the banjo bolt fitting, what do you want to call it. And I located the leak. I wasn't 100% sure, about 95% sure, because I located the leak by wrapping aluminum foil around the actual banjo fitting and running the tractor under load, and it was leaking rather profusely out from that aluminum foil that I had wrapped pretty heavy, a couple layers, and it wasn't spraying anymore. So that means it was from that area. I just couldn't, after replacing the copper seals, I couldn't get up in there because each one of these rear tires weighs about 900 pounds plus because of the beet juice that's in it for the ballast. And with my newly replaced knee, I did not feel comfortable finagling a 900 plus pound wheel off the tractor to troubleshoot it. And it turns out they removed the loader. They had to remove the loader, which is easy to do, but they had to remove the front or the right loader mount in order to reroute that hydraulic line. That's what you have to do to get that line off and replace it. It's a fixed hard line. It's like I said, it's the main hydraulic sending line to the hydraulics with HST at the back. And since it was damaged, they had to replace the entire line. Now, worst case scenario, later on down the road, if we have any type of total economic collapse, which I can strongly see coming, a civil war or economic collapse, worst case scenario, because the tech said that they've had a couple of these in for that exact same spot, which means that when they swedged the line onto the fitting, the line is too thin and that's where it cracks, just enough to leak profusely. And after about 4 hours of working, lose just over a gallon of hydraulic fluid as a result. So worst case scenario, I could always re-sweat that crack in the future if there's no service facilities available anymore, or parts aren't available because we're in some type of world war, which the current administration, which is a leftist communist administration, is allowing an invasion of our country, is pushing us towards. Everything they're doing, they're pushing us towards another world war. They specifically. So much for the adults being back in charge, of which they said when they fortified the election, aka cheated and stole it. So if you don't believe that that happened, you are highly naive, and go elsewhere if you don't like my channel, because that's the truth. Four more to go. Two more. So I'm not going to be doing any work on these today. A little too cold for my taste. I don't feel like getting sick, but I'm sure it's going to be in the 60s here in the next few days. And that's how I'll end up getting sick. Probably the fluctuation in this wonderful Indiana weather. So I'm going to get these offloaded, move the trailer back, go in, eat some lunch, and then I'm going to start making some shotgun bandoliers for my other business. I was having a conversation yesterday with my physical therapist, Andrew, and he asked how my weekend went, and I said schizophrenic, which is the truth. Because just when I have my day planned, thinking I'm going to do something, something pops up and I have to do something completely different. Today's been rather normal because I've been able to plan to get these off and move everything over, then go in and start sewing. And I've got some parts coming in for an order that I have to get out today, a rush order. So just about time I get done with my lunch and get everything moved back where it needs to be, get done with my lunch, offload the SD cards from the cameras, start sewing on some stuff that I need to get done. Those parts should arrive. Then I can immediately get into the making of those parts. And by that time, it'll be dinner time, and I can kick back and relax. So I appreciate you sticking with me during this rather boring video, but it is a video, it's content, it is what it is. Every bit of content I put out does help me grow the channel and helps me know how to set the cameras up and make it to where it's an enjoyable content. I know when I watch outdoors with the Morgans, it's rather cathartic watching that video, because I just escape away and just watch, and it's something that I enjoy watching. This is something I clearly enjoy doing, so I'm hoping to express the same values and work ethic and content that these other channels are creating, to give you some ideas on things and help you through your journey of firewood, if that's what you're into. So thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, share. That helps the channel out, and I'll see you next time.